What's happening, everybody? You are back once again with the Republic of Players. This is episode 19. Am I right, Fana?
It's 19, yeah, we're on to something there to that.
We have the usual crew with this show. What's happening, Fano?
I was just testing to see if I could see my own breath there. It's freezing here. How is everybody?
Yeah,
I keep you warm.
I want to see a freezing beard, icicles, and all sorts going on.
They're with me, I swear to God.
Platinum Jack, what's happening?
Hi, Ronan.
You have the fine china in the background as always?
Sure. It's part of the podcast at this stage.
It is. It's the ever-occurring guest.
Jack's next tattoo is just a china cabinet up along his arm.
It's the most ridiculous tattoo ever. Get it. What's happening, Paddy Toner?
Not so bad, Ron, yourself?
I'm good, man. So, like every other show, we start with what we're playing. But first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about Gamerfest. We were at it. Was it 2 weekends ago? I think because we gave a break last week. Halloween was last Wednesday, so this is our first show since then, and it was a huge success. We got John Romero on the show, which was a massive guest to have on. We talked everything from games that he created to Secrets in Doom to I think Jack even got out of him an MMO that was cancelled. And it was a really good experience. I think we all learned a little bit from it, and hopefully we can proceed into next year and do the exact same at all the other events. How did you guys find the show?
I think it was incredible. I think the whole event itself was incredible. I think like getting around and talking to everybody, meeting up with everyone, like I kind of like it's fun to just kind of see people you haven't seen in a while. Like we only meet up really at events or stuff like that, so it's nice to see you guys, and then just meeting up with the rest of the people like that we would talk to inside and outside of computers. Like it's nice to kind of see them. And then there's just people who come up and they know, they watch the podcast or they know what the Republic of Players is and stuff like that, and they come up and chat to us about things like that. It's just nice to get in touch with everyone, really.
I have to thank you, Fano, for being my #1 supporter during my FIFA reign. It was sadly ended in the semis by a guy called Cranked, a YouTuber called Cranked. But I bet a pro FIFA player. And yeah, you know me, when it comes to FIFA, I'll always do a little bit of boasting. But
I heard your controller got pretty dodgy in that second last game.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Actually, Ray gave out about a dodgy controller, and the guy that was running the event took the controller, and he was like, "There's absolutely nothing wrong with this."
Absolutely nothing.
I swear it was moving to the left or something, and your man's like, seems pretty fine now. But Ray did actually very good. He was using Liverpool, and he bet a lot of the players that he came up against. I think he lost in the semi-finals as well. It would have been awesome to have an all Republic of Players final, but it wasn't to be. So maybe next year. Jack, how did you find the event?
I found it actually really good. Again, like Spano said, it's just the one place where we can all actually meet up together, and then running into other people like Pain Train, Dave, and Elite Streamer, and everyone. Just running into everyone and actually having the crack with them all was great.
Just a good atmosphere. That's what I felt. It was the first time I was at it. You guys got to go to previous shows, but again, thank you to Stuart as well, who put on a great show and also was very welcoming to all of us that were there. So thank you, and we'll definitely be there again. So without further ado, we will go on to what we're playing. Paddy Toner, I'm going to throw it to you because I think we're going to be back and forth on this one. What have you been playing?
Fortnite. No. No, I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption 2.
You have another game. Stop it.
No, I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption 2, and nothing else really.
You've finished it, haven't you?
Yeah, I finished it. Unfortunately, I'm going back and I'm going to play it again. But I finished it. I did it. I don't know how many hours. It was a lot. It was a lot of days. It was a lot of hours. It was a lot of loneliness. But it was a
lot of time not playing Fortnite.
No, to be honest, it's a brilliant game, and it's like it's setting the bar on what story games should be. And I hope they bring out more of them because it's unreal. The amount of hours, and like you can sit there and you can be playing. Like there's so much to do. There's like even the side stories. It's the first game that I've ever felt like the side stories didn't feel like that they weren't supposed to be a part of it. Like they weren't copy and pasted. There weren't. It's not the same thing over and over again. Everything had a everything had a different story. Like it's fantastic. Anyone who hasn't played it, Fano, Jack, should play it.
Yeah, I was streaming it a little bit earlier on. Fano jumped on, but I'm coming towards the end now. When I say coming towards the end, I mean there's probably another 8 hours, possibly 10 hours to go from where I am.
But there is a main story, and then there's an epilogue. Is that what's called?
Yeah. They did that. They did that in the previous one as well.
Yeah, that's the only I think if I have a downer about that game, it's that, because it's like the story, that story of the game is so like.
Spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil anything. It just heats up. Like you get to a certain part of the game, and next thing you're flying, and it's like you're fighting. You're doing this, you're doing that. And next thing, the epilogue just slows everything down, and then it's like, what just happened? Like maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's bad. I didn't really enjoy that part. But I didn't spoil that, so don't say I did.
No, what we'll do is we'll do a full spoiler cast when I get that game finished. We'll sit down, we'll go through every kink, everything we like about it. The main attraction for me is the world, and
it's massive, just unbelievable
to explore. And I love the cinematic camera. Really, it's almost like a substitute for fast travel, because you get to see so many beautiful views, and the camera swoops in perfectly, and you have kind of semi-control when you're in the cinematic view. You can speed up the course and stuff, and I like that. I think it's a real step in the right direction.
It makes you really feel like you're involved, like a movie or something. Like it's very, and like you're in control of it. Like it's very. When you sit down to play it, you're in the world. You know, it's very good. It's like, I think they've actually stepped it up big time with this game. I really hope to bring up more, and someone else copies and does the same kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But does that not make the game not special if everybody tries to copy it and
no, but I don't mean that. I mean, like, whatever their story is, that they expand it to a sense that it makes you feel immersed in their world. You know what I mean? Not like, a lot of the time the game is just trying to get to a certain point. Like they go through it so fast and just want you to get to the end, where this one you can go hunting, fishing, you can go to a bar, you can do whatever you want. There's so many side stories, you know what I mean? You can go try and hunt for somebody, you could do anything you want, or you could be playing the game. I'd say, like, I was looking up the platinum for it. I was thinking of platinum it, and it's going to take 200 hours to do it. So that's how much it's in that game that you can do. And it probably wouldn't feel like a chore at all.
I'd say that's one Jack might pass up on them.
No, I've actually looked this up as well, though. That's the funny thing. And the reason it's 200 hours is because the online trophies as well. You have to reach rank 15. Then because the online hasn't been released yet, nobody really knows how much time that's going to take.
Platinum, Jack, do you find that a problem when platinums are attached to the online aspect of a game, especially a single-player game like this? I think another game that I can remember doing it is the Uncharted games. There was a certain amount that you could do online. Do you find that a problem?
It depends on the game. If it's a mainly single player game, like most people are playing Red Dead as a single player game, Uncharted originally was a single player game, but then they added in the multiplayer with 2, and then connected a lot of the trophies for the platinum to it. But if I'm not mistaken, they removed them in the collection. So it does vary depending on the game.
Any last words on Red Dead Redemption, Paddy, before we move on?
Buy it.
Yeah.
Seriously, was there a meeting where we all met up and someone said, "Here, let's put sponsor for every time we mention."
No, it's I like gaming, and if I'm gonna say,
it's one of the greatest games of all time.
That's my proper opinion on it. Like, it's like a game of the year for me. Like, I played God of War, I played Spider-Man, I played whatever the big games are this year. That's definitely the best one.
100%.
For me.
I think God of War does things differently, and some things it does better. I think what open world always suffers from is pacing. And I think because God of War is not, it's semi-open world, but it doesn't have the same pacing problems as a massive open world like Red Dead does. And what I mean by that is you could do a story beat, and then you don't want to go on to the next part of the story. You might do 5 or 6 hours of your own thing, and then when you come back to that story, it's a little bit fractured or something. I don't know, and it's not the developer's fault. It's the way you play the game. I mean, if you mainline the main quest, that wouldn't be an issue, but you don't want to do that in an open world game. I I think it's the game of the decade. What they did is an absolute marvel in game design. Whether you like the story, whether you like the characters, the actual game as a masterpiece is just spectacular. The views that you get when you're up on top of mountains looking over a vista, there's nothing like it. I don't care whether it's PC, whether it's console. There is nothing that comes close to that game as far as graphic fidelity of views and vistas and just scenery. And
just all the big words are coming out tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, the whole lot of them are
Love it.
coming out.
Love it.
Phenomenal.
There you go.
So, Fano, what have you been playing?
It doesn't matter. Let's move on. It's not Red Dead Redemption.
So, as much time as I've had to play games the last couple of weeks, I've played a bit of. I finally got Soul Calibur. I mean, I've been talking about it for weeks. I finally picked up Soul Calibur. I'm no good at it. Just put it out there. It's very, very hard.
What's different from the last game?
Just it's a different cast of characters. They have a new story to it. There's a new kind of range of weapons, and there's character creativity in the game. Have you seen some of the things people have made for it?
Some of them.
Oh
are
my
nuts.
god! Some people
So is it like
very, very
an
talented.
Injustice kind of style creation where you can add bits and pieces
No.
to the character? Is that the way it's done?
No. So it's just like no, you'd make your own character, but you'd give it like a move set of a character. that's
Okay,
in the game.
you build a character, an original
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, people have done like amazing things. I've seen people do Spider-Man. I've seen people do Illidan from World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And it's just like literally people taking the time and then putting the effort into these things. And some of them look absolutely amazing. I don't know how people get the time to do these things. I haven't had the time to play it enough yet.
And from Red Dead, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is some
Arthur
John
Morgan.
Morgan someone's made.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I've also been playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night because that came out on the PS4 recently.
Nice.
It's good to get back into that. I swear to God, I love
When
the
did that get
game.
released?
Weeks ago,
Coming up, that was
The 26th of October. That's when it came out.
That dropped out of nowhere, didn't
Pick
it?
it up.
Yeah, it was very silent. It's only 20 quid as well. All over it, so I
I
haven't.
probably will pick it up because it does look amazing. I was watching a blind speed run last night.
Jack, there's platinums, you'll get it.
There's a
Jack, what were
platinum.
you
That's
playing
nice.
yesterday? I seen something weird on TV, and I wasn't sure what the name of the game was.
Grim Fandango.
Oh,
Oh,
Grim Fandango,
yeah.
classic.
Grim Fandango. I was reading something. I was lopsided looking at that, I suppose.
What way did you read it, Paddy?
I don't know. Can't even remember. I was like, what's this lad up to now?
There's a platinum there somewhere, Jack. Am I right?
There must be an easy enough one there.
No, I started the game when it was free 3 years ago. You know, I'm gonna start doing the cleanup on some of the stuff I started playing but never finished, and Grim Fandango was one of them. Seeing as I finished
Jack.
Spider-Man on Monday.
Jack, will you wind up that potato, will you?
You're going to kill me tonight. I swear to God, this is the one where Fallon dies. Oh, dear.
Oh, sorry, Jack. Continue.
That's exactly what he's doing there. He's winding up.
No, he's
up.
winding up. He's stuck.
No, you've killed him. You've killed him.
We've killed him.
What else have you been playing, Jack?
I was the usual of Mario Kart 8, and then I finished Spider-Man on Monday, and holy shit. That's all I'm saying. Sorry. Holy cow, I should be saying.
No,
It's all right.
So,
It's okay.
so what do you think of the game as a whole? Because we all had our buzz about that game. Let's bring back the buzz of Spider-Man because it is a fantastic game.
The game was absolutely phenomenal, except for the whole thing of all the outposts and everything. They were incredibly grindy.
Is that a word?
So incredibly grindy.
Doesn't sound right when somebody else does it, fan, does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Phenomenal.
So that's
Phenomenal.
I explained that before Red Dead Redemption was brought out, that I was getting kind of tired of these side quests that felt fetch questy. So basically that's exactly what I'm talking about, Jack, is those fetch quests that are they're just there to kind of maybe put some longevity on the game and get people playing further, but they bore the living daylights out of me. And I think...
Now, don't get me wrong. Sorry. Don't get me wrong. The side missions I didn't mind. None of the side missions I didn't mind too much. It was just the outposts, like the Fisk hideouts and everything. It just, because it was 6 waves of enemies and then you have to knock them all out, and it's just... it took so long because I wasn't going normal mode. I went for spectacular because I heard it was meant to be an easy enough game, but coming towards the end of it, some of those last outposts, I was so close to just saying nope.
So did you get the platinum, or is it you just cleared it? Oh, you got the platinum. Okay, you forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, you wouldn't leave that out, would you?
I was going to say it at the very end because I was going to say that I found the last couple of boss fights in it very easy.
Okay. Yeah.
Pro gamer.
So I didn't really find the game difficult. I do understand the part with the waves because Nate actually asked me to come in and do a few of them, and they were, because there's so many enemies at once, I think it's because you end up getting nearly lazy because there's so many coming and you're pressing the same thing over and over again. I love the game. I think because Nate loved it so much, it echoed to me, and I had fun playing it with Nate. But he still plays it. He cleared the game. He's still playing away. He wants to go for the platinum. He's taking his time doing it. But I loved it. And if Red Dead and God of War wasn't out, that would be Game of the Year, I think. I read that it was one of the best-selling exclusives and one of the best-selling Marvel games to ever come to a system. So, I mean, it's only up from here with Marvel games.
Oh, yeah, especially with the fact that the DLC was only released over a week ago as well, the Black Cat Heist one.
Yeah, the Heist.
And that seems to have gotten a lot more people into it, especially with the fact that it added a new difficulty mode with Ultimate mode. Which reminds me, I love what they did with the difficulty choices. That was the best part of it because it's stuff like Friendly Neighborhood is easy, Spectacular is normal, or Spectacular was hard, and Amazing was normal, and Ultimate. They're all kind of different versions of Spider-Man. So Spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. That was actually a really nice touch on their part, in my opinion. Yeah,
it's made by fans of Spider-Man. You can see that from the get-go. Insomniac really put a lot of love. I think you notice it with there's certain collectibles in the game that you collect, and they're throwbacks to different seasons or different episodes or different versions. And you can, like, some of them that I wouldn't really recognize, but others I would. I'm like, oh, that's from the movie or that's from the comic book. And I like that kind of stuff. It really builds the character, and it kind of pays homage to the character as well. So if we have nothing else that we're playing, we can move on to news. We've a little bit to get through. First of all, I'm going to go over the UK charts for, I believe it's this week, November the 3rd. So number one, yes, you guessed it, it's Red Dead Redemption 2. Black Ops is sitting at second, FIFA at third, Forza Horizon 4 at fourth, Spider-Man at fifth, sixth is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Then there's Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is mad that that's still there. It's amazing how well that's sold.
Only got the re-release on the Switch and the Xbox One only a couple of months ago, so it's kind of not surprising.
Okay. Lego Harry Potter Collection is there. Football Manager 19 is the new entry. Fano, you'll be happy to hear that. It's obviously a good version of that game. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, another game that you're playing, has come from 12th up to 10. So
which is a great game.
There's still people buy it. So very kind of predictable stuff there.
Yeah. I think a lot of those kind of more child-friendly games are kind of people just buy stuff for Christmas. I think like the Crash Bandicoot and Mario Kart and stuff like that. It's like they're going to stay up the charts or even rise further like in the next couple of months because of Christmas.
Yeah.
So with the bundles and
yeah,
exactly. But at the same time, I would say, you said that it's all very predictable. I'd say maybe the first 6 or so are predictable. The other 4 aren't as predictable.
Okay.
You wouldn't really expect to see, as you said yourself, Crash Bandicoot was still there somehow. You know what I mean?
And that's only after going up. It was 10th last week, and now it's up to 7th, so it's still being bought, and I think it's fantastic. I love that remake. But
Spyro's out in a week.
Yeah,
Spyro's out in 6 days, I think. Yeah, 6 days.
Then I'll see that.
So that's probably why Crash Bandicoot's getting up again, is because people are like, oh,
Jack's doing the final countdown.
Probably.
It's the final countdown.
So there's a good chance.
All I have to say is, screw Spyro. We're getting medieval.
Not next week or not.
Like Maximo for my liking.
Can I do a round table here? Who here is looking forward to Spyro? Fano?
Yeah, no, I am. I'll do it.
Jack?
I'll stream it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Paddy?
Yeah, we'll take it or leave it though.
Yeah, I never got into Spyro. It was the type of game that I seen being played, and I tried it. I don't know whether I didn't really like the mechanics, but I was much more into the likes of Crash Bandicoot and Medieval. I played a lot of that as well, so I'm looking forward to that. But I like seeing these massive games getting remade and brought back for the likes of my son to play. It's great. So the next bit of news is something that's kind of going to follow on. Is Red Dead Redemption has generated 225 million in its first 3 days.
No, more than that.
No, more than
725.
Let me do that again. Red Dead Redemption has generated 725 million in its first 3 days. So has it hit the million? Has it hit the billion mark yet?
It's definitely done it. Like, it would have done it.
It has to have had by now.
I'd love to get an update on that. But
billion.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like they did their homework. They did it all right. Everyone is said it's brilliant. It's broken barriers for games with stories and stuff like that. And if you didn't think it was going to hit the billion in the first week, I think you would have been kind of crazy not to think that.
It's the second biggest opening for a product in entertainment history, and obviously number one goes to Grand Theft Auto. But it's a ridiculous achievement. And we talked about people working overtime and stuff, but this is what they've brought something to the table that's just a ridiculous piece of art.
The thing about Grand Theft Auto though is Grand Theft Auto was timed well. It kind of came in bundles with everything. So you got to think of it. If Red Dead Redemption 2 was the launch of the PS5, would it have surpassed it in the same way that Grand Theft Auto 5 would have done with the PS4 and stuff like that?
Yeah,
I personally think Grand Theft Auto has a wider audience, and Grand Theft Auto has the great thing where they released on PS3 and the online was a little bit, it wasn't a little bit, it was a janky mess as far as I can remember, and they fixed it going on to the PS4, and people are still playing that to this day. And what I love about the kind of comparison with Red Dead and GTA is people that don't like Westerns are still going to play Grand Theft Auto. It's not like that game has become dated in any way. They're still adding stuff. I mean, I still get updates saying there's new stuff added to it this week. Come on and do like an event or something. So they're still
in the charts.
Yeah, so
it's in the charts all the time.
That's it. Is it the first time ever that it's not in the charts since release? I think it is.
I think
Probably
so.
is. Maybe Red Dead's kind of knocking it out, but I don't know if it's gonna. People still go back to playing Grand Theft Auto all the time. I wish they don't release another one, but they probably won't.
Yeah, no, they probably won't. If they're making as much money as they are from the online, they won't. I'd say, unless they make it.
Eventually.
Unless with 6 they make an online that is as big or even bigger and better than GTA 5's online.
What did you say that they won't release a 6? Is that what you said?
Some people are saying they already come out and said that they don't know if they can make it in today's cultures, like the way everyone's so to jump on things so quickly and so offended by things that they don't know they can make it.
I can completely understand that, but I think if they have to do something for the next generation of consoles, they can't leave it as the same game. It's not going to survive. Like people aren't going to hold on.
I bet you 4 pizzas that there will be a Grand Theft Auto 6.
But you're not going to be
like shadow of a doubt.
No,
you'll be
but
sitting here like 50 or something.
No, it'll be another 8 years, but there's no way that it's not coming.
I think it's in the next 3. If I'm honest, like I think it has to come with the next set of consoles, because they have to update the graphics.
I want one really badly.
Like you're saying there about being controversial, there is a lot of controversial stuff going on in Red Dead Redemption, and I think because I don't know, Rockstar just handle it in a way that is just, it makes the headlines.
Western, it's a Western is the past. So like if you went Grand Theft Auto in today's age, that means you're like going with what today is like. So you're being offensive towards whatever is going on today, not the past.
But who's to say that it's going to be a modern Grand Theft Auto? Maybe they wake up down.
I hope they bring it out. I don't care about all that because I hope they bring it out. I love Grand Theft Auto games. I have a series. I have every one of them sealed.
I think Rockstar are smart enough to poke fun at that while also being smart enough to not anger the whole of the world. I mean, like
in South Park, where they pick on everything, but they pick on it just enough that no one gets really hateful about it.
Exactly,
like
a smart,
like picking people up and then paying for service and then beating them and then taking their money back. That's not offensive at all.
No, Paddy, how you play Grand Theft Auto and how other people play Grand Theft Auto might be a bit different.
I'm just saying what you can do. I didn't say I did it.
You can do some horrible stuff in Red Dead Redemption as well. Trust me.
Even in the original Red Dead, you can do some horrible stuff.
There you go. It's
we're horrible people. Let's move on.
That's the best way to put it. We're all horrible people.
So here's another thing we can discuss. It's you heard it here first, guys. It's about Red Dead Redemption again. But trusted reviews have reached a legal settlement with Rockstar, and the reason why is because Trust Reviews brought out two aspects of the game before any of it was released to the public, and that was that there was going to be a battle royale, as far as I know. And what was the other one? Let me just have a quick look. There was two aspects anyway. It was a battle royale, and I can come back to it anyway. But the simple fact is, trusted reviews basically broke the silence on these two aspects of the game, and Rockstar are basically getting trusted reviews to pay a charity $1 million. What do you guys think about this whole situation when it comes to media outlets releasing, say, leaked material? Do you think this is good that Rockstar are attacking them? Do you think it's,
well, I think, obviously, if there's an embargo on it and you're not allowed to do it, then the whole idea of you being given these things is so that you release it when the embargo is lifted and you can actually put it out there to the world, not beforehand. It's like when we did the charity stream, we had to ask EA could we play FIFA 19 on the stream.
Exactly.
If we weren't allowed to do that, we'd be in trouble. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, you can't do these things without permission from the companies. I think the way that they handle it is quite well, though. Not to say, oh, we're suing them and we're taking all this money. It's we're suing them, but this money's going somewhere better.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's
like a slap on the wrist. They deserve it. They should be releasing stuff like that there when a company is trying to make a game that they've been working on for years, and then at the final hurdle, then someone to give away their ideas and let people know what they're doing. It takes a lot away from the creative people that are in there making the games and spending their overtime and everything. There's definitely a code of ethics that they should be sticking to, and they deserve to get punished.
Well, it's when you give people these things, these are your ideas, this is your product. When you give it to someone to review and something like that, you're trusting them that they won't do things like this.
I don't even think they got a review. Was it not that they just got it from Inside Knowledge or something like that?
They got a phone call, anonymous phone call, supposedly. That's what.
Yeah, Insider Knowledge. They shouldn't released it for a couple of clicks.
Even if you're given that information, it's private information. If it goes out there, you're going to get in trouble.
And their name is Trusted Reviews.
That doesn't make any better.
It's a bit ridiculous.
That's why you come to the Republic of Players for all your news.
Shameless plug. But at the same time, though, it's not the first game to be leaked, and it's not definitely not going to be the last to have something leaked about it. Look at Pokemon. Nearly every year at this stage, something gets leaked about it. I know it's usually teased in a magazine months beforehand, but when the magazine leaks, there's never a complaint there.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo do that on purpose.
They probably do, yeah. But
drips and drabs of stuff like that. That's the way a lot of them work. They're very much into the consumer. They love giving the consumer just a little bit. That's why when they always release consoles, there's never enough of them. There's never enough.
At E3, I was so surprised they gave away everything about Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but then again, they started revealing more over the past couple of months.
They had nothing else to show anyone. That's why they gave it all away.
I was really they didn't show loads of Mario Party or like that. And all these other things have come in.
Super Smash Brothers is.
They didn't show much of Let's Go as well. That was what surprised me. They showed a small bit, but they didn't show much. All the details that have come out over the past little while was nothing that anybody would have thought would have been at E3. Everything everybody knows now has been revealed over the past.
I don't think they were ready though. With that game was kind of in the early stages. It wasn't just ready for release. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff that's coming out now.
But surely their main ideas and the main things that they wanted to show off, they should have had ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. They know what they're doing.
They're the millionaires, not me.
Yeah, plus people
Yeah.
will still go out in their droves and buy Let's Go. They will go out in their droves and buy Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's just a
Maybe
brand,
that-
isn't it?
Maybe the Doom Eternal, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Sony have released
Or not
the list of games. I think we all had a go of what we thought were going to be on the PlayStation Classic. Have you seen the list, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
So I'll name it real quick and then we can have a chat. Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddsworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms. That to me is a serious cool lineup. What do you guys
Did you
first
say
opinion?
Siphon Filter? I know Siphon Filter's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Siphon Filter
Siphon
there.
Filter, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to hold up.
The thing about it is there's no analog sticks on these controllers. So games like Metal Gear and Siphon Filter and stuff like that, I feel like they're a little bit encumbered by it. Like you can't really enjoy those games. And Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, or Tom Clancy Rainbow Six. Sorry. But I think they're all a little bit held back because you don't have the analog sticks and you can't plug in your PS1 controllers into these things.
No, USB, are they?
Yeah, they're especially designed like a USB thing. So I think on that aspect, it's a little bit of a letdown. But like I'll still play it, I'll still play the games and everything. There's a lot of games there that I want to play again. But
Would you buy it?
I'm going to get it. Even if like as a collectible item as well as the fact that there's a couple of games I want to play on it. Maybe I'll stream them because I have the facilities for it now.
But like if PlayStation and N64 come out at the same time, which one would you get? I suppose it depends on the games really as well.
Yeah, it depends on the lineup. Like if you get an N64, it's going to be very hard for them to get GoldenEye now.
I think is that not like the first thing they were thinking about bringing out? I hope they do.
But don't they have to get like all the licenses from the movies and everything? Like so, I can't see them getting it.
Might be their last release of Final Fantasy 7.
It could be.
Oh, you want to bring that up, do you? You're gonna owe me a pizza.
Let's do it,
You're gonna owe me a pizza.
But
so
that game has waited so long. I'm sick of it. It's not as bad as Bloodborne.
So Tetsuya Nomura. Yeah, I got it right.
Nice.
I don't have it written anywhere. It's not in my hands already.
That's not right.
Came out and was doing a Q&A during the week, and someone had said about them, would there be any chance that they're going to be re-releasing Final Fantasy VII Crisis, or not, before Crisis, just as an updated version of it. And he said that after Kingdom Hearts 3, he's going back strictly to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which means...
I didn't read that article, but did not say he hinted, like the main title said they hinted at. I can't...
No, he hinted that there might be other titles from the Final Fantasy VII collaboration of titles that they might be remaking.
How about look after Final Fantasy 7 before you start
that's
saying
that's
games?
literally what the article. That's literally what the interview says. Like the Q&A, that they're going to look after that first, and then they call themselves old timers now. All the Final Fantasy 7.
I know, because by the time when they started it, they were young, and now they're old.
They're still in. That's
the remake I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're still in nappies when they start.
They started making it when the Final Fantasy 8 came out.
But it said like the second that they're finished with Kingdom Hearts 3, which is out in January. Sorry,
end of January.
When we're doing this podcast in 50 years' time, we'll be sitting down with the developers, and they're like, "Remember that Final Fantasy remake?"
It's coming! I swear it's coming!
It's coming next year. And
the biggest hoax on it's the, I don't know. I just think it's the biggest pull on nostalgia strings I've ever come across.
But the thing is,
that's what everyone's doing. That's what Spyro is.
Yeah,
I know, but at least Spyro's coming.
Crash Bandicoot, all these classic consoles.
I'd be afraid to touch Final Fantasy VII. Like, to be fair, like, it's a great game for the PlayStation.
I think
it's very hard.
I think the backlash of it. It doesn't matter how they do it. It could be the next coming of Christ in a game. It's still going to get absolutely.
I didn't know there was a first coming of Christ in a game. Why did I miss this?
Yeah, but you know what I mean, like that kind of equivalent.
That would be a great game.
They're still going to get slated for it. Like, it doesn't really matter what they do.
Coming of Christ, Jesus!
It
What's
doesn't
the
make
worst thing ever said in this podcast?
like the joke now is like Final Fantasy was Square's supposed to be Square's last game, and it made them millions and millions, the very first one. And like if they ever get into trouble where they need money, they just have to release Final Fantasy VII as a remake, and that's it.
Don't even update anything. Just like
they don't know.
Put it on a new disc.
Change the character names.
One of them has to be Christ. One of them has to be Christ.
One of them is Christ. Just change Cloud's hair color to brown. Game changer. $1 billion idea. Done.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it right here. I was going crazy.
They were even thinking about when I was reading it. They were talking about even making Advent Children the movie into a game and stuff like that. Which I think. See, people say no, but I think there's enough characters and there's enough kind of enemies and stuff like it, or that movie, that it would actually make an interesting game.
But I wouldn't really do it as a turn-based RPG if they're going to do that. That'd be more.
No,
of an
I think it would go down. I think it would either go down that line or the Final Fantasy 15 line, that kind of free-flowing ATB.
If they did it in 15 style, I'd say that'd work fairly well. But if they're going to do it classic turn-based, it won't work in my opinion. But
like the question is, lads, right?
Do you
what games on the PlayStation 1 do you want to play?
Final Fantasy 7?
No, didn't see that coming.
Cool Borders is a great game.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Actually.
Cool Borders is good.
Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play Twisted Metal again.
There's a couple of games there that I haven't touched in years. Twisted Metal being one of them. Cool Borders being another. I remember. Was Cool Borders have a cool soundtrack or something? I don't know why I remember that. Destruction Derby is a hell of a lot of fun. Grand Theft Auto, the original. Yes, you will get some fun out of that system.
Wasted. What a great game.
Funny thing is I said back when this was first announced, I wasn't going to get it, but looking at the games, I'm actually thinking of it now.
It's literally classic games. Like and a lot of people I've seen. Well, I have all them games. I know it's a classic version of the system. It's the best games on this system, and I think they have a great lineup there.
Funny thing is I'd understand most people saying they have all those games except for one game, and that's Revelations Persona, but that's because it's such an expensive game to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even a Japanese copy will set you back about 60-70 quid these days.
Is that the original Persona game?
Yeah.
Well, it was a remake of the original, I think.
Okay. I'll check that out. That's interesting. I've never played the original. So I'll move it on to the next news story, guys. This is just a quick one, and it's a rumor. PUBG is possibly heading to PS4. Now, I think there's been a couple of stories here that there's been word from the developer that yes, it is coming. But is it kind of past it for PUBG? Will you guys jump into it?
I'm going to sing this out. It's too late.
Yeah.
But PUBG have actually released today that you can get the game for free on Xbox. I don't know how long that lasts.
With Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 as well.
Okay.
For free?
Yeah.
For free, yep.
That's I don't know, but if Black Ops Blackout is a very good game. I can't see me switching to PUBG now because it seems a little bit dated compared to Blackout.
See, the game still looks great and stuff like that, and it if they had put the time and effort in when it was needed, it would have been ahead of the rest.
But do you think that game looks that good? I don't even think it looks good.
But for the style of game it is, it's actually pretty decent.
It looks pretty good. If you can get like the PC level graphics up on it, it looks pretty. It's beautiful.
We don't talk about PCs here.
The problem I've always had with PUBG, even with I played a lot on PC, and the graphics are nice or whatever, but it's nothing to do. You have to actually turn down the graphics to have an advantage in that game. I mean, if you have too much foliage, the enemies have it turned down so they can see you, even though there's a lot of stuff going on. There's not a standard across the board. But the problem I had with that game is the world is so boring. I mean, every building you go into, it just feels like has the same doors, the same hallway, the same 2 rooms to your left, 1 room to your right. It just seems very samey, and in a way that the likes of Fortnite don't feel like that. The likes of even H1Z1, I think, has a more interesting world than PUBG, and I'm not really excited for this coming to consoles. I think there's too many good options out there that are better than PUBG, and I haven't played Blackout yet, but that seems to be something that I would go to quicker than the likes of PUBG.
The amount of time you kind of waste in the game of PUBG as well is a big factor.
Running around, sprint simulator.
Like like Blackout, it has a big map, but it's not. There's not as much dead land in between. There's always like a building within like a minute of you.
Yeah.
Whereas you could be running around for ages in PUBG and see nothing.
And then you get shot, and you're like, "Where did that come from?" Okay, let's start again. Yeah, it's a weird one.
I think it's too late for them, even if they do it. It's not going to sell.
PUBG 2 coming new soon.
Yeah. So we got to see Henry's version of The Witcher. So again, I want to do a round table. Have you all seen Henry Cavill's version of The Witcher?
No interest.
You've no interest, okay?
Sorry,
Jack.
Sorry.
No, I've seen it, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm still going to hold out judgment because I haven't read the books. I've only played the Witcher 3 game. I don't know how he looks earlier on in the books. I've heard he doesn't get his scars until later. Obviously, even in the Witcher 3 game, if you shave, his beard grows out. It could be different later on, but for the moment, I'm not a big fan.
I was a little bit withheld when I first seen it, but the more I kind of read into it, and the fact that yes, he is playing a younger Geralt, I kind of think it looks pretty good actually. I know for a fact he's going to do his best to bring out the best in that character. I think it boils down to the way he talks as well. Geralt has a very, very distinctive voice, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I think DC threw him through the dirt with the scripts that he was given with Man of Steel. I think he did a great job in Man of Steel, but I think the directors and everything that went into that film, I think it was
that film should be called Man of Emotion.
Yeah,
not Man of Steel.
The same director,
CGI'd mustache.
The same director, what's his name? He directed 300, believe it or not, as well. Zack Snyder, yeah, absolute garbage.
I can see it from here.
He's an absolute killer of dreams, that guy.
We should get a counter every time 300 is brought up as well.
Was it 300 times now?
Yeah.
Jack.
I do believe Chris Nolan, though, was brought in to help on that movie. I'm nearly certain. I'm nearly certain he was. But Man of Steel it wasn't terrible. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. So anyway, on to the next piece of news. This is just going to be a quick one for Paddy. Just to announce to Paddy that Bloodborne 2 is possibly coming.
And there goes Paddy.
So there's a part in a game called...
Well, I don't know about Paddy, but Mr. McGregor in the background celebrating.
Yeah. So there's a game called... What are we going with? Deracine?
Deracine.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure. It's a VR game. It's done by From Software, and basically there is the doll from Bloodborne is in the game, and it mentions something. Let me just bring it up here. It mentions something that
it mentions something that directly links to Bloodborne.
Yeah, that direct something's going to light up or Like in Bloodborne, if you look around, there's references to Dark Souls 3 before that was ever released. Yeah. So it's possibly the most obvious piece of news that we've ever heard, because we're going to get a Bloodborne 2, put it that way. But to get a little bit of an inkling and to have people talking about it gets me excited.
Well, it gives you kind of a time frame as well. Like if you can kind of think about, it took 2.5 years after Bloodborne came out to get Dark Souls 3. So could we see it in 2.5 years' time? Like, let Sekiro do its thing and let it finish up, and then is it next?
Yeah, I'd say so. I definitely put it after that game. I think they'll get this game out of the way, see how it goes, and then I think because the way From Software work is, they will see what way the combat works in Sekiro, and then maybe push it on to the next game, which will be Bloodborne 2. And I think the combat that we're seeing with Sekiro would work pretty well in a Bloodborne game. Just the fact that it is fast-paced, and with Sekiro you're getting the elevation and stuff as well, which I think could elevate and revolutionize the combat in a Dark Souls style game. But that's all I'm going to say.
I think they still have to keep the weapons to that kind of Bloodborne style of weapon, though. They can't bring those kind of samurai swords and stuff into it. It doesn't suit it. But also, if the time frame's right, is it a PS5 release title?
We'll talk about that in Topic of the Week if we get a chance to get on there. Next, we're going to do Fano's section. Are you ready with it, Fano?
Not a bit. Forgot about it. So what happens when I leave things to the last minute? Don't worry, I'm on it.
So I'm going to guess what comes out 10 years ago. Jack.
Go on, have a guess.
Grand Theft Auto.
No.
Uh,
I
this-
have it here now. Okay, so 18 years ago today, we got two games. We actually got three big, well, not one really big game, but two.
It was Jack. Jack
We
wasn't
got-
born.
We got 007.
I
The
was
World Is
born,
Not
thank you
Enough
very
on the
much.
PlayStation 1.
that was a good game as far as I
That
know.
was, that was a good game.
Yeah,
That was a third person, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got Crash Bash on the PlayStation, which was
Nice.
the party game.
Underrated.
Oh,
that
that was
game.
That was a
Yeah.
great year for gaming. That was a great year for gaming.
And then
Yeah.
on the Dreamcast, we got the original Shenmue.
Oh,
I
nice.
have a copy of that.
That's a big game, like.
That's a huge game.
What don't
Did
you have
we
a
get a
copy of?
remaster on that on PC recently?
I think you've more than me, Jack.
Yeah, I think it's well, they're
It's got
building
the
up.
Xbox
Didn't
One
they release
and
the
PS4
the? Yeah, it's on. Yeah, you've got the first
Shenmue
two
1
games
and
on
2 got
PS1
released
and
together.
or PS4. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and they tried to crowdfund Shenmue 3, but I think.
On this day in 2003, we got Mario Kart Double Dash.
Great game as well.
That was on the GameCube. 13 years ago today, we got Guitar Hero on the PS2.
That game was massive.
That
wasn't
game
it?
was fun.
Yeah.
A guy cleared Dark Souls with a guitar from Guitar Hero.
Ironically, exactly a year later, we got Guitar Hero 2.
Nice.
There's some serious irony with
A
that.
sequel was released exactly a year after. I suppose.
No, but like to the day, because they would have been different days. You know what I mean?
Gears of War.
Uh,
I don't know, that
Gears of War came out 12 years ago today.
That was a great game.
That was a great game.
Paddy does love that one.
That was a very good game.
One of the games that I here that I don't really like and it kind of ruined the franchise for me is Tony Hawk's Project 8.
That was a weird one.
That was after like the
I don't think I
success of
played that
Tony
one.
Hawk's Underground and stuff like that.
Tony
Yeah.
Hawk's Underground was awesome.
Yeah.
Underground was amazing, but then they went on to
Gears of
Project
War
8.
2 came out this day 10 years ago.
That's good. I like Gears of War 1 and 2. I thought Gears of War 2 started slowly, but actually ended up being really good. I like
Never
them.
finished it myself.
That franchise.
Here's one for you. We actually gave this away in the charity stream. A year ago today, Farming Simulator came out on the Nintendo Switch.
Hey!
Hey!
And a year ago today, Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds came out.
That was a great expansion.
Great game, yeah.
That expansion was fantastic as well.
So next is, before we go into community section, Paddy, you just get a few questions ready there. We are going to do our topic of the week, and I don't know how this is going to go, but I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you want to see in the next generation of consoles? I mean,
Bloodborne 2.
GTA 6.
I mean more kind of features and stuff. Like, what do you think is going to differentiate this generation to
Money back with your purchase. Preferably all of it.
Jeez.
No.
When you finish the game, you get your money back. Is that what we're going for?
Yeah.
Swap and
Just the
trade.
option. Just the option to refund. What would you like to see? There's not like I don't think we're ever going to see like backwards compatibility or anything like that. So there's no point in asking for that kind of thing.
You don't? Well,
You don't think?
I don't think we'll get that with the PS5 or whatever the next one is, Xbox 2 or Xbox
You don't think-
67, whatever they're going to call it.
PS4 games on a PS5?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we'll get that. I think just the way that Sony are in general, like we didn't get it with the PS4. We only got it with the start of the PS3. It'll either be like a niche thing where they do it the same way they did with the PS3, whereas the first set of consoles come out will have it in it and then they just get rid of it.
Do you think that's a missed opportunity? Like, should we be getting backwards compatibility? Is that
I feel
personally?
like there's too many games, especially in this generation of console, that's too good and they're too graphically good not to be able to be played in the next generation of consoles. Like we've got The Last of Us 2 coming out and stuff like that. Like all those kind of games. You've got Red Dead Redemption 2. These are all raving about. Like if you could have to like have a PS5 and you couldn't play that, you'd kind of be sickened. I think fans of the games that are out now wouldn't appreciate a PS5 if you couldn't play the games that are out now. And there's no point re-releasing them on that in people spending another 70 quid on them because it's just
You can play the PlayStation now. Like that's backwards compatibility, really, isn't it? Like, if you can play the
but then you're
PlayStation now and the next.
but then you're paying for something to play games that you probably have lying around your house.
Yeah, they really should have done what the Xbox One did and actually patched or did the backwards compatibility with the console.
What if it was a case that you could, instead of paying for the PS Now subscription, it was included in your 60 quid a year subscription to PSN? You're allowed to get the PS Now with this subscription. Maybe it would be another incentive to get people to, pay for that yearly subscription. I know with most games you need it anyway, but that little added bit on, because I think, I could be wrong, but I think we're not getting older games being released for free with the monthly releases of PSN games. Is that right? We're not getting Vita or PS3, I believe, at the end of the year.
No, they're disappearing off of it.
So what would be nice if with your subscription, instead of getting those games, you get access to PS Now with a lot of the backwards compatibility options that you.
But then you only have the option to play these things online.
Yeah,
I think if you had the option. I know, I understand, but there's something about being able to, even like if you're traveling around or something, and you say you left your copy of Assassin's Creed Origins in your PlayStation 5, say, and you couldn't play it because you couldn't get online, or you had to have PS Now to play online. Like, there's something about having it just be able to play casually and not having to connect to the internet or anything like that.
So with PS Now, you can actually download the game.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
That's only after new feature, isn't it?
It's only new, yeah.
It's only added recently enough.
That's something that because.
But you still have to be connected to your PlayStation account online to play it.
I don't know, like that. I don't know, but I know there is an option there. So it is a case that they could maybe make it so you didn't need to be online. That if you downloaded it to the system, that you could play it. Say if your internet was bad, but like a lot of the things we're talking about are very nitpicky and just kind of
isn't that why we're here?
Quality. No, I know, but
I think it needs storage, massive storage.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. It needs to have huge storage on them, because I have a 500 gigabyte PlayStation here, and it's done. It's it's past its sell by date. I have to upgrade. It's done. Do you know what I mean?
But there's that, and there's also like they need to get it right the first time. Like we shouldn't have to buy another version of the same console.
But that's their business. That's their business plan. It's nothing to do with the fucking.
No, but with the hardware and the PS3, that never changed. They got a whole.
The first batch, there was a different.
All they took out was the card reader. Like all the actual.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is from the 60 gig that used to be able to play the PS2 games, there was different hardware, and that there was something specific in that.
It wasn't you could play PS1 and PS2 games.
It was an extra laser. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But to play PS3 games, there was nothing different. So to play PS4 games, like they included the graphics card and the storage on the PS4 Pro.
I think
PS4 Pro,
the first one to release without. I think Xbox will be the first ones to release without a disc. With this drive, I think they're going to go first. Well, Google's going to go first, and then Xbox.
But if they release without a disc, is it going to go the same route as the Ouya did? Is it going to be?
I think you're all wrong, because the Switch takes cartridges.
Yeah, but the Switch takes cartridges. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they take out disc drives completely out of consoles and they goes from completely physical and half physical, half digital to completely digital, is it going to go the same route as the Ouya? Are people going to be less inclined to go out and buy digital games when they might have crappy internet?
That thing
bombed. But that's what I mean. Like, that's why I'm using it as an example. Could this bomb because the internet?
Well, maybe it's not the next generation. It's going to be the generation after.
So it seems to be like a lot of internet infrastructure is the problem with people. Not exactly what we're basically stopping ideas that say Sony want to implement or Microsoft implement because our internet isn't good enough. But to be honest with you, we're one of the only countries that there is these rural areas that don't have these sections of internet. But I'm telling you right now, there's areas that I knew that never had internet. Now they are starting to get internet. I think that's becoming a thing of the past. Like, there's a lot of funding going into trying to get internet to these rural areas, because obviously people, like, the internet is nearly a necessity now. It's a necessity for TV services. It's a necessity for gaming. I think this thing about having internet as the excuse is not the console developers' problem. they're going to sell the console regardless.
I don't know about that because that's what killed Sega. Sega brought out the Dreamcast too soon, and
we're
that
talking
killed
about
that company.
Sega. Like this is
No, but
2018.
yeah, we're talking about video games.
But
I
we're
know,
also
What killed
but it's
Sega was
different
they brought
time.
out something that was ahead of its time.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's already been drip dropped into the culture. Like it's already happening.
But
So
yeah, it's
it's not
happening,
like
but
it's not
it's
like they're
been happening
jumping
forever.
straight into it.
Sure, look at PC gaming. That's all PC gaming is. There is no physical copies of anything for PC anymore.
That's what I've
You buy it
tried.
on sale.
Everyone agree. Everyone agree with me.
But a console and a computer are two different things.
No, they are now.
But then
That's
you're
the
just
thing.
buying another computer. Like you might as well just have your Windows PC. You might as well just scrap
Like I
consoles
like the way
altogether.
Xbox have gone with certain things. With like it's a home entertainment system. It's not just like you've got everything on it. You can go anywhere. You don't have to go change your TV. You don't have to go onto the smart TV is great and everything. But like if it's all in one place and you just searching around the menus, that's the way it should go. Like the game and it should be a streaming service. Like that's the way it's going to go eventually. I know everyone keeps saying it's not, but I really think it is.
So
Like, we're talking about being augmented in the future, like, and people are on about bad internet.
yeah.
This is the
the internet excuse is not going to last forever, and and I feel sorry for the people that don't have good internet. Like, I mean, it's a real bummer. Like, but I'm telling you, it's becoming a stage where the people that have bad internet are minority, and that's the simple fact with the world and the way it is and the way it's
far
built.
away either. Like the ESB is going to be bringing internet down the power lines. Like it's going to be everywhere in Ireland soon. It's not going to be one of these things where a rural part doesn't have it, this part doesn't have it. It's going to be nationwide soon that everyone's going to have good internet. It's going to be better than it is now. It's just we're at that point in Ireland now where we're catching up. But like I can't see that. Like we can see what Netflix is doing and everything. That we can see the streaming services is going to be the way it's going to be.
Yeah, even people like older generation that have no clue about internet are coming to me and saying, "Oh, is there any good Netflix shows on? I got the old Netflix in there, and I actually kind of like it." And these are people that never would have touched the internet; they would have done nothing. But these services are becoming so mainstream and such a necessity. And the fact that I can't sit down and turn on live television now, it's a waste of time looking at adverts. No, I want my Netflix service or Amazon service or services that I can sit down and say, okay, I want to watch this, and it's on straight away. That's the future. I mean, and if we stop that from happening, it only goes backwards. We're back to watching live television, and that's just a thing in the past. I haven't
seen RT News in 3 years.
There you go. But I think, like, just to go back to the actual question, because we went down a kind of an internet and a restrictions route. But what do you guys want to see in the next generation of console? Jack, let me hear what you have to say.
I still just want to see. I know Fano said that we won't see it, but I'd love to see backwards compatibility. That's one thing I would love to see. But I would also love to see the fact that I don't want them to, like, I know there's rumors of them going full digital with the next generation. I don't want them to go full digital with the next generation. I like having the physical copies. I like going to my local GameStop or wherever and picking up a physical copy of the game and actually having the physical copy of the game.
That's fair.
I know I'm a collector, but that's why I'm a collector. I like picking these up. It's like books. I don't read online books. I actually like having the physical book. You know what I mean?
So your biggest kind of concern is hoping that they will keep a lot of the features that they have in this generation and not maybe push them out, like obviously the physical. I personally think Sony are going to keep the whole physical aspect of it for the next generation anyway. Maybe after that, I think it's going to be a little bit different. Paddy, do you have any other points to put in for the next generation?
The next generation, all I want is to have power and to have a good hard drive and to be like fast, reliable, and like to maybe not like I don't know, maybe to be able to upgrade it as well, like not having to buy parts. I know that's very PC and stuff, but maybe able to upgrade certain parts when as the technology moves faster, like stuff like that, and maybe make it like an actual home entertainment system where you don't have to turn anything else on. That's really what I want. The game is like this gaming service and everything like that is, but I think for so much money, like for your spending, like a new one, I'd say it would cost like 500 or 600 quid. Like if you're paying that much money, it should be able to do a lot of things, not just play games, you know.
Okay. Fano?
More USB slots.
Just for the PC thing to say. That's a very good one, though.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
I mean, in the original PS4, there was 2 in the front. In the PS4 Pro, there's 3. There's 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Like,
God.
yeah, like there's I have a lot of things I can like. I charge my phone and stuff off my PlayStation and stuff like that. So
But I think there'll be there's gonna be a lot of wireless charging like coming. Like it's already out for Samsungs and stuff. I'd say the controllers will end up being wireless charged as well.
It still needs to be plugged into the
Sitting on top
PlayStation
of
to
a
actually
pad.
have
yeah,
the pad.
the pad still has to be plugged into something.
Yeah, but it doesn't really it doesn't really have to be. It can be connected from Bluetooth. It could be like we have the technology. We have the power.
Charging through Bluetooth.
You can't charge something through
Yeah,
Bluetooth.
no,
Bluetooth's
you
a
can't.
wireless signal.
Yeah, but to connect to the PlayStation, I'm saying you could use Bluetooth. To charge it, you could sit on top of a pad or something. I didn't say it had to be. You said it had to
Yeah,
be connected. I'm
but-
saying
yeah,
it
but
doesn't.
Yeah, no, we're saying the
Who's
pad
gonna-
has to be connected.
Who's going to sit
I'm
on
saying
top of their PlayStation pad or hold it under the controller and try to play a game at the same time? Like,
No, the pad
Yeah,
is plugged
yeah,
into
you
the
have
the pad is plugged into the wall, boys. Calm down.
yeah, but you're not going
Pad
to
is
hold the
plugged
pad on
into
your
the
lap
wall.
with your controller there while you're charging it and trying to play games at the same time. Like, you know what I mean?
You're
It's
right.
all things. I think it's preposterous. I think like the whole idea that you can charge your stuff while still playing games, like that's never going to go away. People are still always going to do that.
What if you could charge? What if it was wirelessly charged and you were playing it and you were sitting in the room and it was charged at the same time? That's fairly possible.
I don't know how.
One of my
think
biggest,
I'd wrap my head around that
one
one
of
as well
my
myself.
biggest hopes and dreams.
not Ronan.
No, the
Bloodborne
thing
2.
that yeah, well, that as well. But the thing that I always think of next generation consoles is the games, and I think the way Sony marketed the PS4 was all about the gamer. They stepped away from that entertainment system that you're talking about, Paddy, and that's totally understandable. Like I understand that it comes an entertainment system like that it's easy to use, everything's there, but I always keep my gaming separate to say watching TV or watching a movie. It's just a separate thing for me. I have my own room most of the time I spend in here gaming, and I go into the sitting room and I'll watch a movie on the big TV. But I want the exact same marketing with Sony as they did in the previous one. I want it for the gamers. I want development companies of consoles to really go after just new talent in the game and development industry. I want to see newer franchises being made, like the likes of, and I know this isn't a new developer, but like the likes of Horizon, games that really blew me away. I want to see like massive launch titles that we're going to say, here's the next generation of console. Before generations used to be the graphical upleap in generation to generation. You could see it. It was like going from, say, PS1 to PS2 was a massive leap in graphics. Going from PS2 to PS3, the exact same. It's kind of got less and less as the generations got on. I want to see just more story-driven games, a less kind of look at maybe games with services. I mean, there is a huge market there for the likes of Destiny and stuff, but them loot-based games don't really do anything for me. I think going the route where movies become an art games become an art like movies, and we get these brilliant stories and continue to get games that blow us away. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to in the next generation. It's strictly about the games for me.
Cool.
I'd like to, just on top of games, I'd like to see more games aimed at kids. Like we all had mascots of gaming growing up. There's no new mascots of gaming.
Yeah,
I'd like to
kind
see
of
like
yeah, that's fair.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, but I'd like to see even like a new Crash Bandicoot game or a new Spyro game. Like they're doing all these re-releases now, and that's nice. It gives everyone a nostalgia. But give them something new.
Knack
But like
1 and 2.
New character, new platform.
Yeah, but like
thing, yeah.
the place, like but Sony haven't done anything.
Well, Sony have Nathan Drake, and they also have.
Yeah, but they're not
Aloy
aimed
from
at
Horizon.
they're not really aimed at kids. These
No, they're
games
not
are more
aimed at
complex.
kids. No, definitely not.
Like you remember the colorful mascot more than you
Yeah.
remember Nathan Drake and his scrubby clothes, and he's basically
Yeah.
just a Lara Croft ripoff. Like,
Or Indiana Jones.
mm,
Are we done with the future of consoles? We go on to community section. Our good
Yeah.
friend, you like this one, John Fogarty.
ah,
John Aldino.
he didn't mention the resurgence of Trop United coming soon, did he?
No, but a big announcement. Trop United are going to be back in the coming days. Going to be a big announcement. We're going to get the crew back together. So be
And they're
prepared.
back, boys.
The boys are back. We need Paddy there to calm everyone down before there's a riot.
comes the drop half back.
John Fogarty says, I love Bloodborne, but story-wise, do we really need a sequel? Don't get me wrong, it's my favourite PS4 exclusive, so I'll play the hell out of it.
Do we really need a sequel to The Last of Us 2? No, but we're going to get one and enjoy it all
Don't
as
you
much.
dare,
I think
don't you dare.
like Last of Us 2 is very much open and definitely could have another one.
Did Bloodborne need a sequel, or did Dark Souls need a sequel? It did. Did Dark Souls 2
I
need a
can see
sequel?
where he's
Yes,
coming
it
from
did.
with Bloodborne now.
Don't you
I can
stop.
see where they can make a sequel from. It depends on the ending they choose.
I don't think it's going to be a direct story.
It's never going to. Yeah, it's never going to
In
be
the same
related.
world,
It could be set in the same
Yeah.
universe, but it doesn't have to be set in the same country or island or whatever.
In
you want
fairness,
to put it, like.
knowing like the Dark Souls games, it could be set in a completely different world, just with, it could be anything. I think From Software do a thing where the general terms of what's going on in the world seems to be similar, but the story could be a total different aspect. Like, do they return to Yharnam? I don't know. Like, it's wide open if you ask me. And if anyone can do it, it's From Software.
I'd love for some From Software to do like a whole like Van Helsing thing, like set it around
That'd be amazing.
like everything about it, like, or even for them to take on like a Castlevania-esque game and do like Dracula's Castle. Like,
That'd be
I
class.
think you should make
That
a
would be pretty
Castlevania game,
class.
Fano.
I should work for them. They should just give me money and games. I'll take them all.
He also asks, any of the lads looking forward to Hitman Season 2? I didn't
It's
see
not.
Hitman
It's not
Season 1.
season 2, I believe. It's
It's just
actually
Hitman 2.
It's
season.
actually Hitman
It's
2.
actually Hitman 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the original developers that were brought back to do that game.
I think that looks amazing. I think
It
like
does look amazing.
those games, like obviously Metal Gear Solid and all these are all kind of espionage games, but Hitman really takes it like to the next level. Like, you have to think about everything that's going on around you. Like, I know Assassin's Creed and you've got Metal Gear Solid stuff, and they have espionage like tactics in them. But if you screw up in Hitman, it can go really wrong for you. Whereas you can kind of fight your way out in most situations in the other games, or run away from them. I think it definitely makes you think about everything you're doing. Like, you can't climb up things if you have things equipped. You have to take out certain people to wear certain uniforms to get through certain places. So that, like, they do take it to the next level, I think.
We have a great statement, and I mean, I can't back this up enough. David Ayre says Bloodborne shouldn't be a thing. I'm just anyway. KR9 Hunter says, do you guys think if they do away with discs and carts and made it all digital, would it make collecting games easy or harder? And would there be a point anymore to collecting if it goes digital?
I think it would be a lot harder. I think people would be more inclined to hold on to what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd probably rather see things rot in an attic than kind of, give them back to the community and let them kind of store them around and buy new things. Like sell your old things and buy new things if you can get new copies of games and stuff. Like, I think people would be more likely to hoard things and in the hopes that they would gain value, but they probably wouldn't. Like, there's only certain games that will actually gain value over time.
Regardless whether it goes digital in the future, a lot of the collectors collect, the older generation of consoles, and I think they'll actually just go up in value. The fact that, okay, now we're at a digital age. Do you remember when it was physical? I have got this collection of physical consoles. Here's all my games. And because I think if it goes into the digital world, it'll become obviously rarer after, say, 10, 20 years to get physical form. And I think that's where it'll make serious money and worth collecting.
But I think the more that we go down this digital, we're going to see more things like this PlayStation Classic, where you've got the Persona game that's worth a fortune now as a physical copy. Whereas people are probably more inclined to buy that and just play it that way. I think if everything starts to go digital, you'll see a lot more titles like that just going into, like the way that Nintendo do it. Nintendo have all your classic games, like your Game Boy games and stuff like that. They're all available throughout.
A lot of it's based on rarity. So like if you have, if a lot of it's like supply and demand. So like if you can't get it, the more it goes up. Do you know what I mean? So like if you only have 6 copies of a game left in the world, it's going to be massive. So if people
if you were to do like a PS2 classic, you're probably going to see Rule of Rose on it, and Rule of Rose is worth like $200 or $300.
I know, but it's still not going to be. It's still not going to be worth the same. Like Rule of Rose is very hard to get, and it's a very expensive title. Jack has it, But it as I said, it goes on supply and demand. So if you've got, it depends your mint condition. Like if it goes to digital age, I'm telling you, hold on to all the games you have because all the value is going to go up. Because if they stop releasing them, it's going to raise the value.
But they've already stopped releasing these games that we're holding on to.
Yeah.
So nothing changes in that department.
At this stage, like the games you have now are not worth that much. But if you got a mint condition, Super Mario World, it could be worth like 50, 60 quid. That's in a box. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's mint condition.
But at the same time, it's even happening in this generation. A lot of games get released strictly as digital. Then another company will come out and release them as physical. But those physical copies always fetch a high price. I'm going to use an example. Guacamelee. It's a Castlevania-esque game. That only got a limited physical release from Limited Run Games, I think it was, that did it. And that still goes for about 70, 80 quid on eBay at least. And then the digital copy is only, 15 quid? So it
goes on numbers, 100% always on numbers. Like if the less they are, the more they're expensive they are.
So there you go.
Again, it's just,
you going to say that?
Community.
I was just going to say again, it'll just vary on if they're going to release physical copies of digital games you want to release in the future.
Yeah, exactly. If they come up with if limited run games do it all the time, but if they brought a game out now and only had like 5,000 copies, it'd be worth like what do they sell them for, 80 quid or something now, 70, 80 quid now. But they will, if they do not release that game again, that value will go up massively because
But
people
Limited
can't
Run
get
don't
them.
start off that expensive.
Yeah, whatever the price was, I'm saying, but they'll go up like again 10 years, 15 years when there's only 5,000 copies and they're numbered. It's going to go up like.
This could be a whole new podcast on its own, and you can explain to me, but just something that I wanted to actually mention in the next generation of consoles is, will we ever see digital games be available to trade back in for a certain amount of money to get another digital game? Will that ever be a thing?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't know. I think they could have like a sub market to it. Like if you had like a separate company that was in charge of that kind of thing, that you could switch keys with or sell your keys back and someone else buy it, like it'd be a big job. But I think it's possible.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, because I have a lot of games there that are just sitting there, probably never used again. It would be nice to know that if you could. I know it sounds weird trading back in a digital piece of
just trade back your key.
Yeah, exactly. If you could trade back the key, the license, everything goes back, and you get, I don't know, say half price or whatever. Would that be another market that people could attack? I would personally avail of that, to be honest, because there is games sitting there that I know are never going to be touched again. It just would be nice to be able to get something out of them instead of just
I think in the way that like the PS4 Plus market and stuff that is, like when games start to come out for free and stuff, I don't think that being able to trade things back in would
but
be
I think
a
sub-market
viable option.
would be the best option there. I think someone else would have to do it. It wouldn't be PlayStation or Xbox. It would be a different company altogether that buy the keys or
something to think about maybe for
still possible.
Show. So guys,
I think
without further ado, we'll get the hell out of here. If there's no more questions, Paddy, in the community?
No, sure. That'll do for this week, lads. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, give us your calling, Paddy. And
mine is Paddy the Pagan on Twitter, and I'll be streaming on the Republic of Players Facebook or Twitch. And thanks for stopping.
Was that a little drop there, a little hint?
Yeah.
Moving platform, are we, Paddy?
We are, yeah, we're jumping platform.
Jumping ship. Platinum Jack.
I am Wax Skills on Twitter and Instagram, and Platinum Jack on Twitch.
Fano.
For me, it's just Twitter and Twitch at Marockside.
Yeah, I am the Alpha Fox on Twitter. I am the Alpha Fox Gaming on Twitch. You can find me on my PSN at TupaCrip07. Don't laugh, you fuck. And two packets of crisps I was called the other day. TUPSCRIP07. You'll catch me on there.
Streaming Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, add me. I'm going to be playing Red Dead Redemption a little bit later on tonight, so I'll be jumping on the stream. I might even jump onto the Owl headset and have a chit chat. Go to Castbox on your phone, download the app, subscribe to us, the Republic of Players podcast. Go on to YouTube, which you're obviously at now. Subscribe there. Spread the word about us, guys. We are looking forward to a very, very big year coming in 2019. We've had an amazing year this year. It's been such a great experience. We've got to talk to the likes of John Romero and Andy Tinkerbell and the Allcast Irish Gamers, a lot of the legends in the Irish scene. And we're happy to be doing it. And we want to bring you more content, even more content next year coming into the new year. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Would you say this year was phenomenal?
It was
phenomenal.
I might say next year is going to be a phenomenal year. This year was an amazing year.
Put it that way. To say it was a phenomenal year.
So, just a little bit of housekeeping as well. We're going to be doing our Game of the Year show coming up very soon. I don't know whether it's going to be the next one, but it's going to be very soon. So write into us and tell us what your Game of the Year is, even if it's something that's left field. I mean, it doesn't have to be Red Dead or God of War or any of those games. We want to compile a list.
But you'd be wrong.
Yeah, we want to compile a list.
I know what mine is.
I don't mind it.
Final Fantasy 7.
We want to compile a list and basically go through every game that deserves to be mentioned and talk about it and talk about our experience with that game. Myself and Paddy are going to be doing a Red Dead Redemption spoiler cast very soon. Looking forward to that. I have been your host, Ronan Fox. This has been the Republic of Players podcast, episode 19. Thanks a million, guys, for checking in, and we will catch you next time.